Hi, welcome back to Father and Son Investing. Tomorrow is September 13th. I can think of at least two important things that are going to be happening on September 13th. Perhaps the most important thing is that tomorrow is International Chocolate Day. Who doesn't love chocolate? Hooray for September 13th, a day for anyone to eat chocolate. But many of you who are watching this channel are also paying attention to September 13th because it is the date that the Consumer Price Index numbers will get released, and we will know what the annual inflation rate is and the month-over-month inflation rate. Recently, I ran across two articles in Forbes magazine talking about the predictions or the expectations for the Consumer Price Index. Have you ever wondered how they come up with these expectations? You know, even the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the BLS, they take 2 weeks before they actually report what the inflation rate was for the preceding month. So tomorrow we will be getting the inflation numbers for August of 2022. However, there is a way that you can keep a closer eye on what inflation is doing day to day. In fact, one of the predictions, or they call it a Nowcast, was released today. I'm going to show you where that comes from in just a minute. But first of all, let's just quickly ask the question, why should we care what the prediction for inflation is? Why not just wait until the numbers come out? Well, if any of you are interested in buying a house anytime soon, you might want to know what inflation is doing because, of course, the Fed is going to be raising interest rates depending on how inflation is doing. So you might get a little bit of a forecast of what the inflation number might look like for the following month. Say you want to purchase a car in a month or two, and you have budgeted X amount of dollars for that car. And then you find out when you go to purchase the car that the price has risen because of inflation, and you can no longer afford that really nice car that you wanted, but instead have to settle for something a little less nice. So being able to predict what inflation is doing obviously can be helpful for anybody who is looking at purchasing anything. You may not be aware that the Federal Reserve Bank of Cleveland, a branch of the Federal Reserve Bank for the United States, has a website where you can go and get what they call a Nowcast of Inflation. They have economists, researchers there at their branch of the Fed that has put together a statistical model that can very closely predict what the inflation rate will be at any given time. Just how close does the Cleveland Fed come to predicting inflation rates? What is their track record for this year? Here's a graph that shows the CPI prediction in red, and then we can also see the dates that the CPI, the Consumer Price Index numbers, get released. We'll see that for December they came quite close. It actually inched up a little higher than they anticipated. For January, they were quite a ways off, but other months we'll see that they come very close. Here's the last prediction before the actual number was released. It went up just a little bit. Here we can see it for March. Again, it went up just a little bit from what they had predicted. For April, they were almost spot on. For May, they were off a bit and it did go up, but for June, it went up just a little bit. Lastly, for this quarter, we can see that their prediction for July, they were off by quite a bit. They anticipated that the inflation rate would be much higher than it actually was. Now, all of these are year-to-year numbers. How are they doing month-to-month? If we look at the data in red, we'll see that for June, they actually came very close to predicting what the month-over-month inflation rate would be. When we look at July, we see that they were not nearly as close. They were predicting it that would be more like 0.26% month-over-month, when actually it was very close to zero. I won't belabor you with every month of the year, but you can go to the website yourself and see just how close they come in their Nowcast forecast to predicting what the inflation rate will be. Now, why might you be interested in this if you're an I-bond holder? Well, certainly I and other people have done some videos giving estimates of what your future interest rate may be come November 1st when the interest rate changes. However, this website from the Fed actually gives you a bit of statistical modeling rather than just estimates that you can use to help predict what your I-bond rate may be. You may be saying to yourself, well, it really doesn't matter. I'll just wait and find out what it will be. But this is something that can give you some reassurance or help you in your decision making if you're deciding whether you're going to be buying or selling your I-bonds. So let's just talk about what the estimate is for tomorrow then. The estimate based on the Nowcast is that the CPI rate month to month will change by 0.06%, essentially flatlining again. Now remember, it was essentially 0% for July as well. That would mean that they have come essentially 2 months in a row with the month-to-month inflation rate essentially not changing. However, let's just take a look at what September's CPI Nowcast looks like. They're saying 0.36%. That would be a significant increase over 0.06% for August. This is based on not complete data, but they can look at things such as gasoline prices week to week, oil prices day to day. They also use data from the recent past for food and other ingredients, so to speak, within their formula to come up with this Nowcast. What this tells you then is that the Cleveland Fed, at least, is expecting that for the month of September, that report will come out on October 13th. For the month of September, they expect that the CPI, the Consumer Price Index, will show an increase in inflation month to month. Lastly, I'll just finish up with this caveat, and that is that you need to know that this Nowcast becomes more accurate as the month goes on or as the quarter goes on. As the month has gone on, we see that the change day to day has been decreasing, and we will see that the core inflation rate that they're predicting now is, again, about 0.36%. So you'll want to come back and check this at the end of the month, and you can also check it into October up until the day before the CPI is released on October 13th. If any of this was interesting or informative for you, please give us a thumbs up. We really need that for the channel, and we would love to have you as a subscriber. Please share this information with a young person in your life. Help them learn how to learn for themselves about financial topics and investing. And as always, until next time, enjoy your investing.